Chapter 11. Energy. You do not have to fight for your health or store up your energy. Simply let it in. Energy levels. To practice transurfing effectively, you have to be in a good state of health and have a relatively powerful energy field. You may think that your health is quite good as it is, but not really know what true health feels like. If you struggle to get out of bed in the morning and do not want to go to work or university, if you feel sluggish after lunch and find yourself nodding off, and in the evening wish for nothing better than to plonk yourself down in front of the television, you cannot say that you are in good health. If this describes your lifestyle, your energy levels are clearly only sufficient to support a measured existence. You will already have additional energy by reclaiming the vitality that was previously being spent on the burden of excess potentials and pendulums. However, you can never have too much energy, and so later in this chapter, I'm going to introduce a number of recommendations for ways to increase your energy levels even further. What we understand here by energy levels is the ability to absorb and use energy. There are basically two forms of energy in the human body: physiological energy and free energy. Physiological energy is attained via the digestive system. Free energy is the energy of the cosmos that passes through the body. Together, both make up our energy body. Human energy is spent on fulfilling various biological functions, but it also radiates out from the body into the space around us. There is an infinite supply of cosmic energy in the world, but as humans, we only absorb a tiny fraction of it. It passes through the body in two directions. The first current passes in an upward direction and runs 1 inch in front of the spine in men and 2 inches in front of the spine in women. The second current of energy passes in a downward direction and runs very close to the spine. The amount of free energy a person has depends on the width of their central meridians. The wider the meridians, the greater a person's energy levels will be. The meridian system was discovered long ago. We are not going to delve too deeply into a detailed description of the structure of the human energy body here. If you are interested in this topic, there is plenty of relevant literature available. The circulation of energy around the human body is a relatively complex process, but that should not overly concern you. For our purposes, it is enough to concentrate on these two central meridians. A disruption in the normal flow of energy caused because somewhere blocks and holes have appeared can manifest in the form of physical illness. The opposite is also true. An inner organ that is affected by an illness can also distort the overall picture of the energy body. It is difficult to draw a clear distinction between cases where physiological symptoms such as toxicity in the body have caused problems in the energy flow and where disturbances in the energy flow have resulted in a physiological disorder. Acupuncture, acupressure, and many other methods can help restore the normal circulation of energy in the body, curing illnesses caused by poor energy flow. However, these methods can only guarantee a short-term effect. In order to maintain a good state of health, one has to take care of the physical and the subtle bodies. Human energy levels are closely linked with the condition of the body's muscles. Muscle tension hinders the normal flow of invisible currents which disturbs the transmission of energy throughout the energy field. A person who feels tense can enter a relaxed group of people and change the general mood in the group without uttering a word. The tension just seems to hang in the air. The other people in the group absorb the negative energy without necessarily being aware of it. Tension creates inhomogeneity in the general field, calling up balanced forces as a result. Equilibrium can be reestablished either by bringing the group energy to a common denominator or by quashing the energy potential of the opposite sign. For example, the group may tease the overly inhibited individual who has recently joined them to get them to relax. Mood and vitality are directly linked to energy levels. Depression, stress, tiredness, and apathy all are indicative of a lack of sufficient energy in the body. Physiological energy alone is not enough to support high levels of vitality. A person can be feeling physically tired but comfortable and cheerful at the same time. Likewise, a person who is well fed and rested can feel down and listless. Free energy plays the most important role in assuring a person has a proactive approach to life. When a person has no desire to do anything at all, they clearly lack free energy. A person may be able to force themselves to carry out routine functions on a background deficit of free energy, but they will find it difficult to be creative or physically active. Intention is the driver for any proactive behavior, and yet when a person has no free energy, they can have no intention. Physiological energy is spent in the physical execution of our actions. Here we will focus primarily on the first type of energy that goes into creating intention. This is in effect the energy of intention, and it is thanks to this energy that we experience the motivation to have and act. Stress and relaxation. When a person is depressed or tense, their central meridians become blocked. The meridians narrow and the circulation of free energy either slows down or stops altogether. In this state, intention loses its energy supply. When intention is blocked, a person usually becomes incapable of dealing with stressful situations effectively. Stress can also have the opposite effect on the meridians, making them suddenly dilate. When this happens, a person is capable of doing incredible things that ordinarily they would never be capable of doing. There are known examples of this, although they are rare. In the majority of cases, a person's abilities and resources are severely reduced when the body experiences high levels of stress. Every day, people come up against numerous stressful situations of varying intensity, from fairly minor incidences that are usually quickly forgotten to extremely stressful situations which can knock them off kilter for quite some time. The body's response to stress is to tense one or another muscle group. This tensing has become such a deeply ingrained habit that we do not really notice it. For example, while you read these lines, you are tensing individual facial muscles, but as soon as you pay attention to them, they relax. After a few minutes, you will forget about your face, and it will freeze once again into a mask that reflects your emotional condition. There is an erroneous but widely held belief that stress can be relieved through relaxation. By trying to relax, you are in effect railing against the symptom without eliminating the cause. Physical tension is caused by psychological tension. States of oppression, anxiety, irritation, and fear cause spasmodic muscle tension. Naturally, conscious relaxation of the muscles will give some temporary relief, but unless the mental tension is dealt with, the body will reassume its previous condition. To eliminate mental tension is essential and sufficient for importance to be reduced. The reason you are tense in the first place is because of the excess meaning you attribute to whatever is bringing you down. Stress is a consequence of importance. Stress can be instantaneously relieved by reducing importance. It is futile and harmful to create ongoing importance. You will never succeed in changing a situation for the better and acting effectively if you are carrying the heavy load of importance. When you are severely stressed, it is enough to wake up, open your eyes, and become conscious of the fact that a pendulum has hooked you into your importance. It is easy enough to see what the importance relates to in each specific instance. Remind yourself, by reducing importance, you free yourself of the pendulum and can act effectively. You have to be aware of the fact that attributing something inflated meaning will always work against you. To change any difficult situation, it is enough to remember about importance and consciously reduce any excessive meaning you have connected with it. The only challenge is to remember in time. When you are stressed, your awareness is sleeping, and so you will forget that something called transurfing ever existed. To eliminate stress from your life, you have to wake up and reduce importance. If you have made a habit of paying attention to your inner voice, it will not be at all difficult to remember about importance at the necessary moment. Every time you experience a feeling of unease, ask yourself why. Where has meaning been inflated? However important the specific circumstances are to you, consciously let go of your attachment to their importance. Only after the purification of intention can you act effectively. To become immune to stress, you have to replace the old habit of stressing out over any small thing with the new habit of maintaining a relaxed state. Being in a relaxed state does not mean being listless or apathetic. It is a state of harmonious interaction with the outside world. It is balance. Balance presupposes the absence of internal and outer importance. I am neither good nor bad, and the world is neither good nor bad. I am not pathetic and insignificant, and the world is not pathetic or insignificant either. The absence of importance, or at least a low level of importance, is the main condition essential to becoming relaxed. There is no point in trying to relax when importance is inflated. For example, you can hardly expect to be able to stay superbly relaxed when you are standing at the edge of a high rooftop and have a fear of heights. If reducing importance is not an option, you can at least avoid wasting energy on trying to relax. This only increases your energy expenditure because, as well as trying to control a critical situation, you are also holding back on what you feel, which is totally futile. Instead, let go and worry to your heart's content. For the practice of transurfing, you have to be able to swiftly induce a relaxed state in any circumstance. This does not require any verbal self-suggestion because the muscles are governed by intention and not words. The majority of the body's muscles can be relaxed consciously simply by being aware of them. It is enough to simply scan your body with your inner eye to release any contradiction. It can be enough to simply scan your body with your inner eye to release any contradiction. We do not usually focus our attention on our muscles until we experience physical discomfort, and so there will also be certain muscle groups that have forgotten how to obey intention. This is connected with the modern-day sedentary lifestyle that most people lead. For example, it is difficult to control the back muscles consciously, and so with age, people tend to develop back pain. However banal it may sound, it is absolutely essential to regularly stretch and exercise the back. The whole procedure of inducing a relaxed state consists in the following. Without hurrying, quickly scan your body with your inner eye and release any contraction. Focus your attention on the entire surface of your body in one go. Imagine that your skin is a membrane that suddenly and rapidly warms through the form from the inside out. Focus your attention on the surface of your body. Imagine this stage in any way you like. Your skin is warming up, covered in a tingling sensation or electrical discharge. The important thing is to feel your skin. Now imagine that energy is sparkling all over the surface of your body like iridescence on a soap bubble. In this moment, you are a part of the universe and are in perfect balance with it. There is no need to try and simulate any special sensation. Everyone experiences these things differently. There is no need to try at all, in fact. Do the exercise as if in passing, but decisively nonetheless. The integral feeling you experience when you feel the entire surface of your body overflowing with energy is equivalent to a state of relaxation, balance, and oneness with the world. After you have practiced the exercise a few times, you will begin to achieve this state instantly, and soon, inducing a relaxed state will be as easy as folding your arms. Energy vampires. We are all swimming in an ocean of energy, but accessing this energy is not that simple because it is not differentially distributed in relation to man. To consciously access this energy, a person has to intentionally widen their meridians and consciously draw the flow into the body. You drink water consciously and intentionally, but are unable to draw in energy with the same clarity of sensation. People are in principle capable of intentionally recharging from the cosmos, but this ability remains limited to its embryonic stage. It is much easier to absorb someone else's energy that has already been assimilated by the human body than to draw energy from the cosmos. So-called energy vampires exploit this fact. The human form of energy is easy to assimilate because it has a specific frequency. To take someone else's energy, it is enough to tune into their frequency in the same way that an oscillation circuit radio does not pick up all radio waves, but picks up on those for which it is configured. Vampires feed on energy that has already been assimilated by other people, and to do this, they attune themselves to the frequency of the energy their victim is emanating. A vampire subconsciously finds various ways of attuning to the frequency of their victim's energy. An energy vampire may saddle up to you with innocent questions, stare you in the eyes, try to touch you, hold your hand, or pester you with intrusive conversation. The energy vampire knows how to adapt and respond to character, and looks for a way of stealing into the victim's soul to get to their frail. This is the behavior of the stealthy vampire. As a rule, the energy vampire is a good psychologist, communicative but not charming, as well as tenaciously intrusive. This usually comes across straight away, although being aware that their behavior is irritating, the energy vampire will try very hard to present themselves in a different light. Another type of vampire is the manipulator. As you know, the manipulator plays on feelings of guilt. The manipulator vampire unconsciously seeks out people who are inclined to give themselves up to another's judgment or request advice when they are in a quandary. Anyone with the slightest guilt complex is likewise subconsciously searching for the one who will accuse them and then immediately pardon them. Support and advice is sought by those who doubt their own convictions and are willing to give themselves up to another's judgment. So the vampire and the donor find each other and fulfill each other's needs. The manipulator easily attunes to the frequency of its victim. The technique here is very simple. The manipulator has only to touch on the surface of the problem that is worrying their victim, and they will open up immediately, making their energy freely available. The third type of vampire, the Provocateur, is more coarse and aggressive. Without really thinking about it, this type makes a direct assault on the aura, trying to throw its victim off balance. You already know very well how provocateurs behave. They will use all means available to them, from implicit bullying to overt aggression. Their priority is to make the donor lose it, so that rudeness, irritation, resentment, fear, and hostility gush from them. It does not really matter what the emotion is specifically. Anything will do. People become energy vampires unconsciously, and their need to suck other people's energy is equally as unconscious. Throughout their life, they notice that certain situations give them a lift and a sense of fulfillment, and they are compelled to recreate the experience. After a session, the vampire's donor usually feels very drained. So if after talking to someone you feel exposed, vulnerable, weak, or shaky, you can assume that your energy has been sucked. That said, it is pendulums that take the lion's share of free human energy. We have described how they do this already. Pendulums take energy through the importance meridian. Unlike the vampire that may pose a threat for a short period of time, pendulums can suck energy constantly, the whole time a person is transmitting energy at that pendulum's frequency. When something is worrying you or bringing you down, your energy levels are weakened, and other people and animals can intuit this on an energetic level. When your awareness and self-confidence are at a low point, of all the people walking along the street, the dog will choose to bark furiously at you, and the gypsy will choose you to pester and pressure into giving her your money. An energy vampire can take a good dosage of energy from you when your defenses are low, and you can easily find yourself drawn into a tricky situation. There is no need to start looking out for potential energy vampires in everyone you meet. By being obsessively cautious, you create access to your biofield. Strengthening your energy body, keeping an eye on your importance levels, and developing conscious awareness will help protect you from negative influence. A developed awareness will help you to remain conscious in the moment that someone tries to pull you into a game or a trap. Maintaining a low importance level makes it much harder for someone to attune to your frequency. You should also remain very aware of any feelings of guilt that might plague you. While I am empty, there is nothing for anyone to hook into. Most manipulator vampires will leave you alone if they have made 1 or 2 unsuccessful attempts to hook into you, and a strong auric field will provide you with reliable protection from any unwanted interference. The protective shield. The human body is surrounded by an invisible energy field called an aura. The average person is not aware of feeling their aura, but they can imagine it. To sense your aura, feel the surface of your whole body like you do when you slide into a hot bath. Notice that I did not say, try to feel the surface of your body. Just do it. When you dive straight in and do not assume that you must first try to do something before it will work, you will find that you can do it the first time around and not have to practice. Energy moves in a slow wave from the center of your body and then spills over onto the surface, forming a ball. Imagine being surrounded by the ball of your energy body. It does not matter that you cannot physically touch it. With your imagination alone, you have taken the first step toward managing your energy body, and with time, you will begin to get a physical sense of it. People who have psychic abilities can see auras as well as any defects in the aura. In fact, everyone is born with extrasensory perception abilities, but they do not use them, and so the talent lies dormant. Latent abilities can be awakened instantly or over a lengthy period of time by practicing exercises. It is all a matter of the power of your intention. Of course, it is not easy to acquire the full power of intention, but for our purposes, it is enough to have sufficient power of intention to keep your energy levels healthy. A weak aura will always leave you open to the possibility of assault upon your energy field. You can develop and maintain healthy energy levels by regularly performing the following exercise. It is very simple and does not take up much time. First, stand in a comfortable, relaxed position. Breathe in and imagine a flow of energy coming out of the ground, entering the perineal region and moving up the spine, exiting the head and extending upwards into the sky. Now breathe out and imagine that a flow of energy is descending from the sky. The flow of energy enters the head, moves along the spine, and passes out and down into the ground. You do not necessarily have to have a sense of the physical flow of the energy. It is enough just to imagine it. With time, your sensitivity will develop, and you will learn to feel the energy moving. Next, imagine both currents moving towards each other simultaneously without crossing, each in its own meridian. At first, practice the in-breath and out-breath, but after a while, try to let go of tying the flows of energy to the rhythm of your breathing. You can quicken the flow, imbuing it with power using the strength of your imagination. Now imagine that the ascending flow exits the body and pours downwards over the head in a fountain shape. Similarly, the descending flow exits the body and passes in the opposite direction, directly under the feet. You now have two fountains, one above you and one below you. Mentally unite the spray of both fountains so that you are enveloped inside a sphere of energy. Then draw your attention to the surface of your body. Feel the surface of your skin and extend the same feeling out into the sphere like a balloon that gets bigger when you blow into it. When you mentally inflate the surface of your skin, the sphere created by the meeting of fountains becomes firmly established. You should remain relaxed throughout the exercise and avoid creating tension by trying too hard to feel the energy physically. Do not worry initially about not being able to get a physical sense of the central meridians. You are so used to them that you have stopped feeling them, just as you no longer feel any other healthy inner organ. From time to time, practice regularly concentrating your attention on your energy currents, and you will soon come to sense them physically, perhaps not with the same immediacy as touch, but tangibly nonetheless. This is energy training. By joining the currents into a sphere, you create a protective shield around your body. By extending the surface energy of the body into the sphere, you strengthen the shield until it acquires a stable condition. This exercise is invaluable. Firstly, the shield protects your energy from being undermined. Secondly, by training your energy levels, you cleanse the subtle meridians. The blocks that prevent the flow of energy dissipate, and the holes in the aura that cause energy to be lost close up. This is a gradual process. Nothing is going to happen just like that. On the other hand, you will save yourself from constantly having to seek the assistance of psychics, reflexologists, masseuses, etc., being able to restore the healthy circulation of your energy independently. You should be aware that of itself, your energy body will not protect you from vampires and pendulums because the freeloaders pump energy by adjusting their settings to your frequency. When a pendulum tries to hook into its prey, the victim's state of balance is undermined. In this moment, you have to wake up and reduce importance if you are to defeat the pendulum. Then the muscles will relax. Your energy levels will be restored to a state of balance, and the pendulum will fall through into emptiness. If you are not swaying, the swaying pendulum cannot take your energy. Conscious awareness is essential if you are to develop control in moments when you involuntarily lose your inner balance. Increasing your energy levels. Increasing your energy levels does not involve accumulating large reserves of energy. This might sound a little strange because we are so used to popular phrases such as, "I do not have enough energy," or "I am full of energy." Only physiological energy can be stored. All you have to do is eat good food and get enough rest, and the energy is stored as calories. However, the human body has no way of storing free energy, which it takes from the cosmos. If a person's meridians are wide enough, they will run free energy, but if they are narrow, the flow of energy will be impaired. So high energy levels first and foremost depend on the width of the meridians. Free energy is permanently present in a limitless quantity at every point of the field. You can literally take as much as you can carry. You have to learn to draw in free energy and experience yourself as part of the universe, and rather than doing it once, you should work to establish a continuous feeling of oneness with the world around you on an energetic level. People think that if they build up huge energy reserves, they will become strong and successful. They try and accumulate energy as a way of preparing to impact the outside world with inner intention. As you already know, the attempt to alter or conquer the world by force is a difficult, fruitless, ineffective task that requires a huge expenditure of energy. Anyone who relies solely on inner intention in their interaction with the world thinks too highly of themselves, for in reality, we are all just a single drop in a massive ocean. Outer intention does not try to change the world or fight it. Outer intention simply chooses what it needs from life. In the alternative space shop, outer intention does not need to haggle for goods or wrangle them out of the shop assistant. You do not have to build up energy to work with outer intention because it is super abundant and all present. We are practically swimming in it. To focus on deliberately accumulating energy is like swimming in a lake and filling your cheeks to keep some water in reserve just in case the lake water runs out. Do not try to accumulate energy. Just allow it to pass freely through you in the form of two counter-directional currents. It can be helpful to imagine these two currents joining in counter-directional fountains, but that is all you need to do. Do not strive to become a bundle of energy. Rather, imagine yourself to be a drop in the ocean. Allow your consciousness to feel that it is an integral part of the universe, in oneness with it, and then its entire energy will be at your disposal. Rather than accumulating energy in your body, merge with the energy of the universe. Expand your sphere of energy and dissolve it into the space around, retaining the awareness that in form you are a separate particle. Then, by just touching on outer intention with your little finger, you will achieve in a short period of time things that would never have been possible to achieve with the power of inner intention. I am talking, of course, about achieving your personal goals, not the intention to rearrange someone's face, for one's immediate needs can only really be met by the power of inner intention. A person should have plenty of free energy if their meridians are not restricted. The meridians suffer from two major limitations: the body getting clogged up and continual stress. Energy cannot flow freely if the body is toxic, and stress causes the meridians to narrow even further. When the meridians are compromised, short bursts of energy are usually followed by long periods of recovery. This makes it difficult for a person to live a full active life, instead of just eking out a measured existence. As a person gets older, they stop developing. Life takes on a slower rhythm. Work with the meridians, all but comes to a halt, and the meridians gradually atrophy. The meridians are worked at times when life requires you to power intention to its highest level of intensity. We stimulate intention and consequently our meridians when we work towards vital goals, but as soon as the main peaks have been taken, the bar of intention is gradually lowered. The time comes when all you want to do in the evenings, and perhaps during the day too, is to sink into an armchair in front of the television. The meridians narrow, the energy of intention fades, and life becomes a burden, not a joy. Fortunately, this can all be easily put to rights in a way that does not involve forcing your intention to conquer new peaks. Meridians can be developed by doing energy exercises. The positive effect will be compounded the more that you tune into the feeling of your central energy currents and subtle body. This condition has a number of advantages. It helps induce a feeling of balance and harmony with the world. It increases your sensitivity to changes in the environment and enables you to go easily with the flow. It plugs you into the information field, an unlimited source of creativity. It gives you access to the energy of the cosmos. You radiate harmonious energy, which creates an oasis of prosperity and success around you. Most importantly, it keeps you functioning at the meeting point between heart and mind, bringing you closer to outer intention. Your ability to direct outer intention develops, which means that your desires are met more quickly and more easily. You can begin the process of change by turning on the energy fountains from time to time during the day and trying to strengthen them by picturing them in your mind without trying too hard. If during the exercise your head begins to feel heavy, it means the ascending flow is stronger than the descending current. Focus your attention on the descending current and strengthen it slightly. The energy currents have to be balanced so that they meet halfway up the body. From this point in the body, mentally picture the currents radiating throughout the energy sphere, and your sense of the subtle body should become clearer. You should experience an integral feeling of the ascending and descending currents together with a sense of your entire energy body. If you concentrate your attention on the descending current, If you concentrate your attention on the descending current, your energy center will shift downwards, and vice versa. If you concentrate on the ascending current, your energy will accumulate in the upper part of the body. Aside from this, your physical center of gravity will shift in accordance with your energy center. You can use this quality to your advantage in sport. If you require good stability in the legs, such as in skiing, you can strengthen the descending current, whereas if you need to jump high, you can work on strengthening the ascending current. Martial arts masters have a good understanding of the quality of energy currents in the body. There are other types of energy masters who can stay so firmly fixed to a certain spot when they are concentrating on the descending current that it is impossible to move them. And likewise, there are energy masters who can concentrate on the ascending current and jump to unimaginable heights. You can practice paying attention to the central meridians when doing any kind of physical exercise. Just do not try too hard. Being overly diligent never pays off. From time to time, turn your inner sight to the area just in front of the spine. Imagine the ascending current rising and the descending current moving downwards. If you regularly practice running your central meridians, you will gradually develop the skill of feeling them. It might seem as if some movements are totally at odds with how you are visualizing your energy. Be patient. With time, you will learn to easily correlate any movement with a sense of your energy flow. Concentrating your attention on the central meridians during weight training can significantly increase your energy levels. During the exertion stage of a lift, focus your attention on the muscles. Then when you make the opposite movement and the muscles relax, shift your attention to the central meridians. The movement of relaxing the muscles should be held for 1 or 2 seconds to give sufficient time to feel the movement of the energy. Take pulling on the bar as an example. At the start of the lift, the breath is held, and then the lift is completed and followed by an out-breath. Attention is focused on the exertion. Then, on the return, there is an in-breath. The muscles relax and attention shifts to the central meridians. During the return, imagine your energy moving simultaneously in both directions. You should fully extend the arms and hang with arms relaxed for 1 to 2 seconds. At this point, you should clearly sense the flow of energy as if it had been suddenly freed and was gradually beginning to move. Do not try to quicken the flow of energy when the muscles are relaxed. Let go and allow the currents to pass freely. In contrast, the central meridians can be pushed with force when doing press-ups. Once you have positioned your hands on the floor with your elbows bent, on the out-breath, mentally picture pushing the energy hard. Do the in-breath and out-breath in any order you feel comfortable with to avoid creating unnecessary tension, but as in the majority of strength-building exercises, the breath is held or the out-breath is made at the exertion stage and an in-breath at the relaxed stage. You stimulate the strengthening of the meridians just by giving them your attention. Alternating contraction and relaxation will stimulate them still further if you direct your attention properly. At the stage of contraction, the meridians stop and tighten like springs. During relaxation, the springs straighten and the power of the energy flow increases. After contraction accumulated, compressed energy is released and literally forces its way through the central meridians. Increasing your energy levels not only gives you more vitality, it increases your power of influence. The quality of your energy becomes richer, which can be very useful when you need to influence or persuade someone of something. Techniques exist that enable a person to exert dominant energetic influence over others. However, these techniques contradict the principle of transurfing, which asserts that we have the right to choose, but not the right to change things. The world does not need to be pressured or fought, and taking this approach is a highly ineffective way of achieving your goals. As you know, the world usually responds to being pressured by pressuring in return. The higher your energy levels, the better people will treat you because subconsciously they will sense your energy and even to some extent benefit from it. However, the majority of people do not feed on personal energy deliberately like pendulums do. It is as if they are simply swimming in your energy because your fountains are abundantly overflowing. People inevitably become well disposed towards you because you are providing them with a source of excess energy. People are so used to giving their energy away to pendulums that they are always delighted to be on the receiving end. So-called magnetic or charismatic personalities are one such source. It is hardly surprising that people like this are said to have an inexplicable charm or magnetism. What would you find more attractive, a pool of stagnating water or a pure spring? There is no need to worry that other people are using your energy. The small quantity of excess energy you give away to others will only work in your favor. When you are waiting for a very important meeting, abandon importance and activate your central meridians until they are flowing in fountains. When your energy is running well, you do not need half as many clever words or convincing arguments. Simply turn on the fountains. By drawing free energy towards you and letting it pass through your energy body, you make the same energy available to others. They will be able to feel it on a subconscious level, and without being aware of the reason, they will feel well disposed towards you. The secret of your charm will be a mystery to them. The energy of intention. As we said at the beginning, energy enters the human body in the form of central currents of energy flow, which are programmed by a person's thoughts, and on exiting the body, adopt the same parameters as that person's thoughts. The programmed energy builds up in the corresponding sector of the alternative space, which causes that reality alternative to be realized materially. The programming is appropriate only if the heart and mind are one. Otherwise, the thought energy is like radio frequency interference. You can fulfill basic actions in the material world with the power of inner intention, but the material realization of a potential reality in the alternative space can only be powered by outer intention, generated when the heart and mind are united in their aspirations. The power of outer intention is proportional to your energy levels. Outer intention is a total commitment combined with high energetic potential. Energy levels can be increased by training the central meridians and cleansing the body. Transurfing also recommends another excellent technique to widen the channels: visualizing the process. You need to have some initial intention to increase the energy of intention. The technique involves the following affirmation: my channels are widening and my intention energy is increasing. During the energy exercise, visualize the affirmation as a process. As you know, the essence of the visualization technique lies in the statement that today is better than yesterday and tomorrow will be better than today. Switch on your energy fountains and repeat the affirmation in your mind that your intention energy is increasing with every passing day. This way, intention will support itself and your energy levels will increasingly rise. Do not forget that the intention to improve your biofield must be purified of importance and desire potentials. Diligence and gusto in the attempt to enhance the energy flow will cause the reverse and create a block. Intention relies on focus, not gusto. It is only by focusing on the process that you achieve the desired result. Performing the exercises with maximum effort is a waste of time and energy if the mind is busy dreaming of something else while you are doing them. Loosen the grip of diligence and focus on action. The step of intention. Imagine an average newborn brought into a society where people age very slowly and live to the age of around 300 years old. How long do you think the child will live for? What I am trying to say is that from birth, people are taught the standard script that health deteriorates with age, the body withers, and in the end we all die, which we can undoubtedly be explained by standard physiological causes. However, if you look at the aging process from the point of view of transurfing, it is really just another induced transition. You could even say that aging is the lengthiest induced transition we experience, occurring slowly but very surely. The aging script is so familiar and obvious that it would never occur to anyone to doubt it. All attempts to change the script have been reduced to the discovery of all sorts of elixirs. Even the achievements of contemporary pharmacology and genetics fail to deliver tangible results. One can only conclude that the physiological factor comprises just one portion of the aging process. Exactly what portion the induced transition accounts for is impossible to say, but that does not really matter. The important thing is to be conscious of the fact that the transition exists. From early childhood, we are convinced that the aging process is inevitable. Over the course of a person's life, they receive endless confirmation of the aging process from their own personal experience and the experience of others. At every birthday celebration, theatrical demonstrations of good wishes are made, calling for good health and longevity. But everyone knows that these good wishes mean nothing and have absolutely no impact on the script. On the contrary, translated into the language of fact, what these well-meaning words are really saying is that your health is far from what it used to be, and the years are passing. These are the slight oscillations or flirtations of a destructive pendulum. Sooner or later, you will begin to feel that 10 years or so ago, you had so much more strength and energy. You will want to share these thoughts with someone else. That someone will instantly appear to enthusiastically develop the topic of conversation. The theme of illness is no less popular in polite small talk now than the weather. By participating in such conversations, you radiate energy at the same frequency as the destructive pendulum, i.e., you agree to play the game. The pendulum may send you a prod in the form of exhaustion or malaise. Your condition will worry you deeply, and you think to yourself, I must be unwell. This is your response to the pendulum's sway. Having received a bout of energy, the pendulum prods you again, making it hurt even more. You go to the doctor who confirms your illness, and the process continues to unfold. The pendulum receives energy and sways even harder. By the time the crisis hits, the pendulum will already have taken everything it can, leaving you alone to begin your recovery, if of course the induced transition has not thrown its victim onto an invalid lifeline. Does this mean that you should not go to the doctor or take any medicine, and should refuse all help in coping with your illness? No. To refuse a possible cure for an illness that has reached a developed stage is irresponsible and reckless, and certainly no way to leave the game. The issue is how to avoid being drawn into the game in the first place. You may comment to a colleague, I have not seen you for a while. Why were you not at work? To which your colleague will undoubtedly answer, I was ill. Note that they do not say that they were healing. They say they were ill. To the question, what is wrong? The answer will be, I am ill. Of course, it would sound unnatural to answer these questions with, I was or am healing. People are so used to playing the illness game that cure is seen as an attribute or side effect of the game, but not as a goal in its own right. The pendulum's game begins with you willingly accepting the symptoms of the illness. In other words, gripping the end of the spiral of an induced transition. The pendulum's first push can be defeated if you do not take the symptoms seriously. Quietly turn away, there and then, and forget about them. If that does not work, you can still the pendulum sway by taking basic preventative measures. If you do get sick, play the treatment game, not the illness game. To play the illness game means to suffer passively, to take part in conversations about various maladies, to whinge, complain, and capriciously demand care and sympathy from those around you, to consider your malaise an indispensable attribute, to flaunt your ill health like a child that must be constantly fussed over, and to eagerly seek out information connected with various ailments. To play the healing game means to take active interest in possible cures, to make efforts to live a healthy lifestyle, to treat your illness with humor, and to focus your attention on improving how you feel, striving towards health and communicating with like-minded individuals. You can see that these are two different games. In the illness game, you participate in the role of passive victim, radiating energy at the frequency of the destructive pendulum. The vortex of the induced transition drags you ever closer to its center. In the healing game, you participate as a proactive creator and master of your own life, ruling your own destiny and thereby shifting onto healthy lifelines. If you are already trying to play the healing game, ask yourself whether you are playing it sufficiently sincerely. The problem is that it is so easy to kid yourself. You might know in your mind that you should be leading a healthy lifestyle, giving up bad habits, getting more physical exercise, and eating good foods, etc., but in reality, old habits die hard. You try to follow the rules of a healthy lifestyle because you know it will be good for you, but in the end, laziness gets in the way and you just cannot be bothered. That is not a clean game. That is the I am ill and they will make me better game. On an energetic level, this game is no different from the illness game because you are playing at healing from a position of duress rather than personal conviction. When the intention is neither clean nor sincere, the results will be the same. Attempts made by representatives of the fairer sex to lose weight are a perfect illustration of a tainted game. They torture themselves with diets, forcing themselves to do the unwanted to get rid of the weight. I am ill, but they will heal me. They abhor their weight and figure, which, as you know, is the perfect requirement to radiate energy at the frequency of lifelines where their weight and figure will be exactly the way they currently feel about them. Women do not actually like their diets. They would much rather have the food they usually eat. If this is the game you are playing, abandon self-coercion. At best, it will bring temporary, minor results. Self-coercion frightens the subconscious, which makes it resist. In the end, the subconscious will have its own way, so you can expect to ditch the diet and gain even more weight than before. The only conclusion worth drawing is that if you want to be healthy and beautiful, you have to change your lifestyle. This means giving up old habits and acquiring new ones, not from necessity, but from a place of conviction. You must have strong motivation and intention, and your intention must be pure. You cannot hope to radiate energy at the frequency of healthy lifelines or to transition to these lifelines if you do the same as you have always done. It is not as difficult as it might seem to make a change in lifestyle. Changing old habits is a matter of intention and time, and not much time at that. The choice is yours. Illness pendulums. Everyone has been ill at some point in their life. Being ill usually brings a mass of problems and anxieties with it, making one prone to negative thoughts and emotions. This energy then emanates through your personal space, providing fertile soil for the development of pendulum-related illnesses that absorb negative energy so efficiently. Pendulums generated by illness are among the most powerful of all pendulums. They are primarily the diseases and epidemics themselves as well as the various pendulums of the medical world that stand in opposition to them. You can imagine what influential structures these encompass. Whole clinics, sanatoriums, research agencies, factories, pharmacies, educational institutions. The medical pendulums declare their goal to be the battle against disease. In practice, this battle generates a massive spectrum of negative phenomena characteristic of destructive pendulums because their main idea is still to hold on to existing adherents and attract new ones. For example, classical medicine is hostile to all traditional healing methods, i.e., any method not belonging to it. Any criticism of outdated or mistaken ideas originating from adherents of alternative healing methods is automatically proclaimed unscientific. Any New Age healing method will be met with extreme cynicism. In turn, adherents of alternative medicine have nothing against throwing the odd stone into the garden of the orthodox, should it come to that. No one gripped by the leverage of an illness or medicine pendulum can reclaim the feeling of their youth, or the time in their life when their health-related issues were the last thing in their mind. If your health is not causing you any problems, you just do not give it any thought, and consequently, your energy lacks the kind of frequency characteristic of illness pendulums. To one degree or another, everyone becomes gradually more susceptible to pendulums with age. Once you begin radiating energy at the frequency of the pendulum, you lose energy and create dependency, which facilitates your transition to lifelines saturated with illness. To reclaim your former state of health, all ties with pendulums must be cut. To cut the ties, you have to block any information generated by illness pendulums and refuse to participate in their games, i.e., applying the approach of defeating the pendulum. If you are seriously ill, you should play the healing game and care for your whole body, i.e., applying the approach of stilling the pendulum's sway. Every day, drug companies show advertisements featuring happy people depending on a certain medicine for their health, and because they have their health, they are highly successful in all areas of their life. It is a tempting carrot and works every time because, as we have already discussed, the majority of people live their lives in a semi-conscious state. Your brain is programmed to go to the chemist, take the medicine, and receive your reward. Complete order in all your affairs. But that is the least of it. There is another deeper, more insidious program that is subtly planted into the advertising. Think about it. The people shown in the advertisements are generally normal, attractive, and thoroughly successful individuals. Are they really any better than you? All these individuals have some kind of health problem, but quickly recover thanks to the medicine they are taking. And you are the same. It is drummed into our conscious and subconscious minds that we are all either predisposed to illness, already sick, or will soon come down with something, and most people accept these game conditions. This is the true face as opposed to the declared face of the destructive pendulum. Its true task is not to cure the individual, but to claim them as an adherent, to successfully convey the idea that they are ill and therefore must take their medicine. Another curious method used to attract adherents is a poor weather forecast. The core of the forecast is made up of information on magnetic storms, fluctuations in atmospheric pressure, and other adverse factors. Note that these phenomena occur to one degree or another practically on a daily basis. A prognosis is then formed on the basis of these data detailing which health issues will be most affected by the weather conditions and who can expect to particularly suffer that day or the next. At first, it is amusing to hear the pendulum almost choking its way through the list of illnesses and inevitable consequences for those who suffer from them. Then it seems freakishly disturbing as it dawns on you what terribly destructive thought patterns are being programmed into the minds of conscious and less conscious individuals who are already unwell. When you hear such a negative prognosis, you might think that it would be better not to go out of the house at all, and that you might as well get ready to climb into your own grave. It is natural that adverse factors will have some effect on our health, but why create the expectation from the very outset? Many people, particularly the elderly, listen to the pendulum's effusions and program themselves beforehand for ailments and aggravations as if they had been sentenced to suffering. The weather forecast and its prognosis for ill health is a perfect illustration of the pendulum's brazen and cynical desire to subjugate people to its will. The most classical topic is the conversations we have with friends and relatives about our health. As a rule, the conversation does not focus on the theme of strengthening one's health. It centers around the theme of illness and medication. One gleefully describes how they suffer from various ailments, and the other readily grunts in response that this is what happens when you get a bit long in the tooth. People who participate in this kind of conversation actively radiate energy at the frequency of illness pendulums, and their energy is just as infectious as pathogenic microbes. Avoid this kind of company, otherwise the frequencies of illness will unexpectedly creep up on you. It is easy to spot an illness pendulum. It lures you with information about various diseases and their treatments. If you decide to ignore the information and let it pass you by without taking it so seriously, the pendulum will be discouraged and leave you alone. This is its defeat. If you respond to the information with healthy laughter and take a couple of digs at it, the pendulum will bolt in terror in the opposite direction. This is the stilling of the pendulum's sway. By parting with illness pendulums, you become completely free, but the freedom does not last for long. It is human nature to want to become the adherent of one pendulum or another, and so sooner or later you will again risk falling under the influence of their illnesses. To protect yourself, you have to shift out of the state of limbo that can set in once you have sided with recovery pendulums that govern everything related to strengthening the body and spirit. Become an adherent of a healthy lifestyle, and you will see how joyful and exciting it is compared with the dull, burdensome battle with disease. Obviously, if a person consistently takes good care of themselves, they will radiate energy at the frequency of healthy lifelines and be far too busy to have anything to do with illness. You can see that there are two completely contrasting lifestyles, one based on healing illness and the other on looking after your health. Clearly, in relation to ill health, the first relates to inner intention and the second to outer intention. Which lifestyle you will live is entirely your choice. Summary. Physiological energy is spent on the execution of physical action. Intention depends on free energy. Free energy passes through the body in two opposing currents. The energy of intention is blocked when you are stressed. To get rid of stress, wake up and drop importance. If reducing importance is not possible, there is no point in wasting energy trying to relax. You can strengthen your protective shield by performing energy exercises. Do not try and accumulate energy, just let it freely pass through you. High energy levels depend on wide central meridians. Performing energy exercises is an effective way of strengthening the meridians. Cleansing the body will significantly widen the meridians. Inner intention is focused on being ill and getting better. Outer intention is focused on leading a healthy lifestyle. Never accept the game of destructive illness pendulums. During the exercises, pay attention to the central meridians. Intention lies in focused concentration, not gusto and diligence.